Ukraine is witnessing its most dramatic political upheaval since the start of the Russian invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky's closest advisor and Ukraine's top peace negotiator, Andriy Yermak, has resigned. And this comes at the same time a corruption investigation is widening across the Ukrainian government.
Dear Ukrainians, both men and women, just in the past few days I have already held almost 20 conversations with our partners. All of them, without exception, say we are impressed by how Ukraine is holding on under the current pressure, how Ukraine is fighting in search of peace for its people. And in fact, this is true for everyone in Europe, at least in Europe. Today I have already spoken with the President of Finland. I informed Alex about what was said by Russia, both formally and informally, as well as about the conditions that Russia is putting forward. Now we are preparing for a meeting with the American side about the steps that are needed to ensure that peace truly comes and that it is a just peace. And when all attention is focused on diplomacy, on defense in war, inner strength is needed. Inner strength is the foundation of our external unity and our relations with the world. And in order to have inner strength, there should be no reasons to be distracted by anything other than the defense of Ukraine. I want there to be no questions whatsoever about Ukraine. Therefore, today, there are the following internal decisions. First, there will be a reboot of the office of the President of Ukraine. The head of the office, Andriy Yermak, has submitted his resignation. I am grateful to Andriy for always representing Ukraine's position in the negotiation track exactly as it should be. It has always been a patriotic stance. But I want there to be no rumors or speculation.
And the exit lands at a moment when Ukraine is fighting to hold back Russian advances, while the United States, under President Trump, is pressuring Kyiv to accept a peace plan that many Ukrainians fear goes too far.
Have you spoken with Rubio and Witkoff since
I have,
meeting?
yeah. I've spoken to them, and they're doing well. Ukraine's got some difficult little problems. They have some difficult problems, but I think Russia would like to see it end, and I think I know Ukraine would like to see it end.
You just said that Ukraine has a little bit of problems.
Well, we have a corruption
problems?
situation going on, which is not helpful.
And is that impeding the peace talks?
Well, I said it was going on for years, right? Didn't I say it? For 3 years I said it, so I was way ahead of schedule. But I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
The controversy began with a corruption probe involving the state nuclear energy company Energoatom. Investigators allege that Ukrainian officials were demanding kickbacks worth nearly $100 million. 2 ministers have already been dismissed. And then, on Friday morning, anti-corruption officers searched Andriy Yermak's home. Yermak was the chief negotiator dealing directly with Washington, especially with President Trump's team. He was the one pushing back against Trump's controversial 28-point peace roadmap, a proposal many in Ukraine found alarming. And he was in Geneva just days ago, meeting U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, trying to soften the proposals.
We had a very good day today. I think we made a tremendous amount of progress, even from the last time I spoke to you, and I apologize for keeping you waiting, but there was more work to be done. You know, we began almost 3 weeks ago with a foundational document that we socialized and ran by both sides, and with input from both sides. And one of the things that happens when you've been involved in this now for 10 months is you get a pretty good sense of what the priorities and the red lines and the important issues are for both sides. And so that allowed us to create a foundational document, which has been an ongoing working document. In fact, over the last 96 hours or more, there's been extensive engagement with the Ukrainian side, including our Secretary of the Army and others being on the ground in Kyiv, meeting with relevant stakeholders across the Ukrainian political spectrum in the legislative branch and the executive branch and the military and others to further sort of narrow these points. We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take is 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way. Now, obviously, like any final agreement, they'll have to be agreed upon by the presidents, and there are a couple issues that we need to continue to work on. But I think the report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very, it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue. Maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process, I don't want to declare victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain.
Now his seat is empty, right when peace talks are at their most delicate. Critics in Washington have long accused Yermak of blocking anti-corruption reforms. The scandal, nicknamed the Golden Toilet Affair after luxury items reportedly found in earlier corruption raids, has now become a symbol of Ukraine's long-running fight against graft. And with Trump pushing for a fast peace agreement that could require major Ukrainian concessions, the big question now is, was this a genuine anti-corruption purge or part of U.S. pressure to reshape Ukraine's leadership ahead of a peace deal with Russia?
Have you spoken with Rubio and Witkoff since
I
that
have,
meeting?
yeah. I've spoken to them, and they're doing well. Ukraine's got some difficult little problems. They have some difficult problems, but I think Russia would like to see it end, and I think I know Ukraine would like to see it end.
You just said that Ukraine has a little bit of problems.
Well, we
What
have
are
a
those
corruption
problems?
situation going on, which is not helpful.
And is that impeding the peace talks?
Well, I said it was going on for years, right? Didn't I say it? For 3 years I said it, so I was way ahead of schedule. But I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
Mr. President, on Venezuela, can you tell us more about why the airspace above Venezuela should be considered closed?
Because we consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They sent millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, from all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problem.
Does your warning
and drugs.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
The New York Times reported that you had a phone call with Maduro. Did you?
I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes.
And can you tell us a little bit
No,
about
I can't
it?
do that.
Mr.
Would you say it went well?
I wouldn't say it went well or badly. It was a phone call. Yeah.
You've made so...
Can you talk a little bit about the strikes and the controversy around Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth?
I don't know anything about it. He said he did not say that, and I believe him 100%.
You don't know if there was
You're talking about the two men?
The second strike to kill the
Yeah.
two men.
No, he said he didn't do it. He said he never said
Would
that.
you be okay with that if he did?
He said he didn't do it, so I don't have to make that decision.
Mr. You've made so clear how you want to keep drugs out of the U.S.
Right.
Can you explain more about why you would pardon a notorious drug trafficker?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. Which
Juan
one?
Orlando Hernandez.
Well, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden. Look, Biden didn't know he was alive, but it was the people that surround the Resolute desk, surround Biden when he was there, which was about very little time. And the people of Honduras really thought he was set up, and it was a terrible thing. He was the president of the country, and they basically said he was a drug dealer because he was the president of the country. And they said it was a Biden administration setup, and I looked at the facts and I agreed with them.